Hello, my name is Don Strickland, and this is my capstone portfolio for my technical writing major at Arizona State University. This is likely the end of my formal education because this is my fifth university since 1982. I have a previous degree in biochemistry and microbiology and quite a bit of technical training from my days as an electronics technician during my time in the U.S. Navy. Today, the professional competencies I'll be showcasing are my skills with audience awareness and analysis, written communication, editing, research, visual communication, and websites. For my audience awareness competency, I'm presenting an expansion proposal that I wrote for the Carlsbad Community Foundation, proposing an expansion of the Living Desert State Park, which are both real-life entities in my hometown. It was essential to know the audience because many are satisfied with the park as it is, and there's a lot of competition for funding from the foundation. I had to work out details such as building the facility while staying on budget and procuring specimens, many of which are protected as endangered species. For my examples of written communication skills, I'm presenting a formal report I did on internet censorship and a reworking of the actual staff manual for the 6th grade academy. While a creative approach is often highly desirable for modern technical communication, sometimes a serious traditional approach is more appropriate, which is what I've done with this report. The principal of the 6th grade academy wanted the document to be rewritten as shorter, clearer, and easier to read, which I was able to do to her satisfaction. For my editing skills, I once again featured the staff manual mentioned previously. Here I've taken a single page from the original document and using a digital markup function in a word processor, I've corrected quite a few errors and stylistic shortcomings, as well as making the text more compact and easier to read. I even went so far as to convert the color theme used throughout the document to the school's team colors. A nice touch, I thought. While I had to do varying amounts of research, this project was the most challenging due to a couple of factors. One factor was that we were required to do some kind of actual research to use in my team's separate projects. Another factor was that the teamwork all had to be accomplished remotely because our assigned team members all lived in different cities. One of our team members was a dietitian, and she recommended conducting our research on commercially available eggs, which worked out very well. I chose to use the data for a recommendation for improvements to the on-site cafeteria at the waste isolation pilot plant, relatively near my home, but not too near, which stores the nation's low-level nuclear waste. My task was to create a document to convince the site's management that healthier food would ultimately reduce labor costs. As important as writing is in technical communication, it's equally vital to be able to convey information in a graphic form so that data and its relations can be taken in at a glance and comparisons made. This project required various categories of data about employment in the technical communication field to be presented graphically to the maximum extent possible. I was able to show with minimal text where the jobs were, who was hiring, and the skill sets they were looking for. Here, I was presented with a prompt for a fictional client in need of a website for his business. My client was named Gustav Vogel and had made a career change to become a wilderness outfitter to get closer to nature and live a less stressful life. So I had to tailor his site to those criteria. I laid out a single and logical interface with elements intended to draw repeat customers and also to appeal to those who wouldn't ordinarily be expected to use Mr. Vogel's service. Now we'll move on to information products that I've created, specifically a presentation in the Ignite Talk format, a traditional formal report, and a website tailored to a niche business. This was a presentation in the Ignite Talk format. I was to analyze a website and recommend improvements. I chose Gabriel Weiner's Fluent Forever website, a site that promotes Weiner's unique language learning methods. Weiner's service and methods are good. I use them myself, but his website left a lot to be desired. This category is represented by my formal report on the social impacts of internet censorship. I wrote a clear and concise document which conformed to the standards traditionally expected in reports of this kind. It was strictly business, with no embellishments that might distract from its message or annoy more conservatively minded readers. Here, I was to create a persona from prompts of a potential client needing a website for his business. I thought the man looked like an outdoorsman, so I decided he would be a man that quit the rat race and started an outfitting company. In addition to the technical details for the site, such as the theme, layout, and navigation, I selected elements based on the supposition that the proprietor of the company would be interested in expanding to serve customers that ordinarily wouldn't use his business. I chose to focus on working women who might be suffering from job-related stress and would benefit for some time in nature and outside of their comfort zones. For my character traits, I'll show evidence of my creativity, flexibility, organizational skills, learning ability, and collaborative and interpersonal skills. Outside of some basic parameters, the main instruction I got for this project was surprise me. I decided that a Rocky Horror Picture Show themed presentation that addressed the gutting of the space program in the 70s and national decline while simultaneously invoking Jimmy Carter's clothing choices, Robert Heinlein's science fiction novels, the movie Dumb and Dumber, and a hodgepodge of other things was very surprising. I got high praise for this one. One should never challenge me to surprise them unless they really, really mean it. I renamed this little gem the Reality Horror Slideshow. These projects are where I had to show the most flexibility due to the family tragedy of my editing document source, and in the case of the research project, the need to use the same research data in different projects that couldn't overlap in any areas. As suggested in the previous example, these projects involve much coordination with individuals remote from my own location. Online meetings were held where we decided how the project was to be divided up when segments had to be completed and online group editing sessions had to be conducted. There was constant learning required. Subject material had to be researched, new software had to be learned, organizational structure of potential clients, legal issues, construction details, and editing techniques, to name just a few. This project required doing some simple but real-world original research to be incorporated into our project. My partners were located in 2 different cities in Arizona and New Jersey, and I was in New Mexico. All of the collaborative work was done through online conferencing, which required planning, scheduling, and adaptability when meetings were missed by some members. My interpersonal skills actually got quite a workout during this project. I had to exhibit some empathy and diplomacy during the editing project because the woman who gave me the document she wanted revised had her 24-year-old son die unexpectedly during the project, and she was not much interested in it. I managed to get it done with a minimum of interference in her grief. Mostly I just used my own judgment unless it was absolutely necessary to bother her. I'm featuring 3 of the technologies that I've used to complete my projects: the ubiquitous Microsoft Office Suite, the Adobe Creative Cloud, and the lesser-known HitFilm Express. I've been using Microsoft Office continuously since 1993. I'm most familiar with Word and PowerPoint, with good familiarity with the others, with the exception of Access. I've used Adobe products off and on over the years, most recently the Adobe Creative Cloud bundle. I've also used FrameMaker in the past. The final technology I'm using is HitFilm Express. This is a comprehensive video editing software similar to Adobe Premiere, which I prefer because it performs almost identically while being easier to use, and it is much, much cheaper. This concludes my portfolio. Thank you for your kind attention.